What's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of So You Want to Lead a Party? I'm Nate.
I'm Ragan.
Shrug, got to throw that in there. And thank you once again for checking out this episode. Thank you as well. If you haven't yet, please like, subscribe, leave a comment, and find us on Patreon. All of that helps us and helps people discover our adventures. Speaking of which, Ragan, what's on the menu tonight?
Tonight, we're actually going back to our Simone Biles build because one of our longtime followers left a comment. We do read the comments, so yeah, we do pay attention to that they would have made her a monk. So I was like, you know what? I'm a democratic person, so I put it up on Twitter. And it came back overwhelmingly. People thought she should be a monk. Okay. So we're going back to Simone and we're going to make her a monk. So let me
This is y'all making your voices heard too. So
yes.
So thank you.
Yes. Make your voices heard. Make us come back in there and change some things for you. We have no problem doing that. All right, so I am going to take her off of a level 10 Oath of Glory Paladin. And we are going to make her a monk. So we're going to still keep her as a half elf. Master of martial arts, harnessing the power of the body in pursuit of physical and spiritual perfection. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That makes total and complete sense. We'll make her a level 10. All right. We don't need to change the description, but we will probably need to change the ability scores because instead of a paladin, we're now monk.
We're probably going to have to. There are a number of characters. This is Optimizer Nate talking. There are a number of characters, classes rather, that are what is known as MAD, M-A-D, in the gaming community. That is short for multiple ability dependent. And the monk is one of them. The ranger, the paladin, a number of fighter subclasses. So if you're a number crunching geek like myself, occasionally, that term won't seem too out of left field. So with monks, I think it's dexterity, constitution, and wisdom. Those are the three that we should probably throw towards.
Okay. Okay. So for her proficiencies, I gave her acrobatics and athletics. Cool. And I guess we made her a gladiator. So the horn seems to be the musical instrument that goes with the gladiator. Yeah. We'll come up with the story for that. All right. Tradition. Are you ready for the tradition?
Sure.
Okay. So, oops, just made that go away. Mercy, Shadow, Astral Self, Drunken Master, Four Elements, Kinsai, Long Death, Open Hand, Sun Soul. Ooh. Every time I hear Drunken Master, I think of not Jet Li, the other.
Jackie Chan?
Yes, Jackie Chan, yes.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I don't know. Way of Mercy, isn't that the one where they can also be a healer?
Yes, that's your character in Liz's campaign. They're a Way of Mercy monk, if I remember correctly.
That is my Antonia Sebastian, who had to replace my Christina Evans. I miss my baby. Yeah. I love Christina, but I made a mistake on that one. All right.
The monk, the Sun Soul is kind of like a blaster. I think shadow is kind of sneaky.
Okay.
Astral self is like kind of psychic, I think.
Hmm.
Four elements is a little bit more towards the Avatar Last Airbender kind of thing.
Ooh.
Kensei is like a Kensei is like a, I guess, a ninja type with like focusing more on weaponry. Open hand is kind of the vanilla monk, but vanilla is also a flavor. So,
Yes. Okay. A monk who follows the way of the astral self believes their
yeah.
body is an illusion. They see their chi as a representation of their true form and astral self. This astral self has the capacity to be a force of order or disorder, with some monasteries training students to use their power to protect the weak and other instructing aspirants in how to manifest their true selves and service to the mighty.
Neat.
Ah. And Way of Mercy learn to manipulate the life forces of others to bring aid to those in need. They are wandering physicians to the poor and hurt. Okay.
Cool.
All right. Let's see. I'm pulling up my books.
You got your PHB.
I got my books. All right. So I'm going to stop sharing for a second as I go back to my book. Okay. Way of the Drunken Master. The Way of the Drunken Master teaches its students to move with the jerky, unpredictable movements of a drunkard. A drunken master sways, tottering on a steady feet to present what seems like an incompetent combatant. So pretty much like we thought.
Yeah.
Way of the Kinsai. Monks of the Way of the Kinsai train relentlessly with their weapons to the point where the weapon becomes an extension of the body. That sounds a little bit more like her. Founded on the mastery of sword fighting, the tradition has expanded to include many different weapons. A Kinsai sees a weapon in much the same way a calligrapher or painter regards a pen or brush. And Way of the Sun Soul. Monks of the Way of the Sun Soul learn to channel their life energy into searing bolts of light. They teach that meditation can unlock the ability to unleash the indomitable light shed by the soul of every living creature.
Cool.
Yeah.
These are cool.
Yeah, they're very cool. They're very cool. She is not a drunken master. Everything she does is graceful and just amazing and beautiful. So I could see Way of Mercy. I could see Kensai.
A pun, if you will.
Yes.
And I'm saying this is a pun right up front, so y'all can leave your judgments in the comments if you want. Now, this is an uncle joke, probably.
Oh, goodness gracious.
There are four, I believe, disciplines, let's say, or perhaps four elements in the gymnastics, in the artistic gymnastics, right? There's vault, there's floor routine, there's not parallel bars, the uneven bars.
Yeah.
There's probably more than what I'm thinking of. So, sorry?
What?
You feel like what?
What? Please continue.
This is not a pun. It wasn't funny.
You said you were going to give us a pun, and then you don't give us a pun. So basically, you're saying it should be the four elements because there are four.
Well, hang on. Like, I was trying to remember what as I was talking about this. Okay. I messed that up. Whatever. I'm thinking that just from a gymnastics perspective,
Okay.
four elements. But I could also see her as, I mean, even like extending an open hand to the world as an Olympic athlete.
But actually, she isn't. She's now protecting herself,
That's true.
her chi. So I don't think open hand would not go
Okay.
with what she's doing. I could see Mercy because she did support her fellow teammates while they were all going through that trial of that
Sure.
thing that preyed on them for so long. But no, she's protecting her chi. She's not unleashing it out there. So that's why I'm thinking Kinsai or Four Elements.
Or Mercy, right?
Well, Mercy is a possibility, but you were saying the Four Elements.
Mainly to just make
let's rock, paper, scissors this. All right, let's rock, paper, scissors this. Best 2 out of 3. All right, ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay, all right. 1, 2, 3. Okay, son of a bitch. Okay, you. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Okay. All right, here we go. There feels like there's a delay here. All right, I'm just gonna say that. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3. All right, that's me. All right, and last one. 1, 2, 3. Yes. Yay! Way of the Kinsai. All right, so let us go back to this.
We're settling that's old school. Yep.
Yeah, we're gonna sell this like we're on the playground, man.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Path of the Kinsai. We get to choose our tool and our weapons. Ooh. Okay, so calligraphers or painter supplies. Don't really know much about her hobbies or anything, but I am, of course, thinking of that movie, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. And I do remember that portion where they were talking about how calligraphy looks like sword fighting in a way. So yeah, that's what I'm thinking of.
That's good.
If no one could tell from before, I watch a lot of movies.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we get to choose her weapons. These are the weapons that she now uses with great power. We want to keep her light and aerodynamic. So we've got dagger, javelin, light hammer, longsword, quarterstaff, rapier, scimitar, short sword, sickle, spear, trident. What is a war pick?
A war pick is a longer thing. I thought. I think it's a two-handed weapon. I'm not sure. Maybe
okay.
Not.
A whip, and I don't even know how to pronounce the last one.
Ikawa?
Yeah, I don't.
Ikawa.
What is that?
I have no idea. I'm gonna bring it up.
So what do we want to have? We do want something that can go stabby stabby.
Okay.
So we do want stabby stabby. So that's
I mean
a rapier, scimitar, short sword, or daggers.
Yeah, it is pronounced Yikawa. It's a simple melee weapon that is a traditional weapon of Chulta warriors. It consists of a 3-foot wooden shaft with a steel or stone blade up to 18 inches long.
Ooh.
It deals 1d8 piercing damage on a hit. Although it has the thrown weapon property, the Yigawa is not well balanced for throwing.
Okay.
It's got a range of 30 feet.
Oh, that's a good range.
And then yeah, d8 piercing, and
Okay.
I guess it's dexterity based. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Piercing wise, there's short sword, there's rapier.
Okay, I'm looking at this now. There's ranged weapons, and I guess there's melee weapons.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what are you thinking for her melee?
Melee. There's something interesting that you can talk with the DM over about, like picking something but flavoring it in a like it'll have the same property as, like, say a rapier. You can still pierce it, but it doesn't have to have that ornate basket hilt, right? You can talk to the DM and let them pick something that makes more sense for your character too. So I guess I'm suggesting rapier, but reflavored for something else.
Okay, all right, rapier it is. All right, so rapier. Yep, nope, wrong one, sorry. Okay, and then for the ranged weapon, blowgun, boomerang, crossbow hand, crossbow light, dart, longbow, shortbow, sling.
The light crossbow is pretty reliable.
Yeah.
I've never steered me wrong.
It's always worked out. All right. So we're going to go back to ability scores. It looks like we get to up 2. So let's look at our Kinsai weapon. Melee or range to be your Kinsai weapon following the criteria above. So I guess it's one with the blade. Your attacks with your Kinsai weapons count as magical for the purpose of overcoming resistance and immunity to non-magical attacks and damage. Death Strike. When you hit a target with the Kinsai weapon, you can spend 1 chi point to cause the weapon to deal extra damage. Nice. Cool. All right. So this is our special weapon. What do you want to choose as our special weapon?
Wow. I like the idea of the whip for some reason, but it's probably not. I don't know.
Are you picturing her using it like Indiana Jones or Wonder Woman?
Yeah, I mean, like, that's like a monk that's able to, like, that just that super cool.
Okay, I like know what weapon you're thinking of. Okay,
like the oh no.
But see, that weapon that you're thinking about is more like a Morning Star. It just has a longer lead on it because it has to have that heavy end for them to be able to whip it and then do the whole. I don't know what that weapon is called, but I know what weapon you're talking about.
Like a flail?
It's more like that, but I don't think it's actually called that. So again, talking about movies, Kill Bill, the first one, Whatchamajig's personal bodyguard, she had that type of weapon where it does very much look like a Morning Star. It just has a much longer lead to it than the Morning Star. So if you're talking about adapting weapons, then that weapon that you're talking about could be a Morning Star, and you just talk to the DM about extending its range. because you can't extend its range on something like that. It's sort of like what I did with Antonia, because I wanted to give her the arm like the Winter Soldier, because it's the combination of those two. And the DM let me add an extra, like a +1 to the hit scores for that one. Yeah. So that is a possibility if you wanted to have a weapon like that. Other weapons that are like that, I guess a flail.
Trident, Warpick, Warhammer, Sickle, Light Hammer, Club, Boomerang. Oh, the flail is right there.
Yeah, the flail. And just increase the distance.
Increases the damage. 1d8 bludgeoning. It's a melee weapon.
Okay.
No? That is what I'm thinking of. It's a stick with a stick with a ball and chain on the end of it. Yep.
Okay, so that is what it's called, a flail. All right, cool. I'm glad that we could think of the same thing. We just didn't know what to call it. All right, let's go play with abilities. All right, for this one, we gave her 15 for charisma, 14 for constitution, 14 for dexterity.
She still needs dexterity and con, but I think she needs to pump up wisdom instead of charisma.
Okay, so
it helps monks AC, because they don't wear armor, but they get scaling bonus to AC based on their wisdom.
Okay.
Which is neat.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put everything at 8.
Okay.
Constitution and dexterity, we can play around with that, but it's already at 14. And our modifiers for that one are both a +2. No, +1 based on the race. And then we get a +2 based on charisma for our race. So we can bump wisdom up to a 14 or 15. Want to take it to a 15? Because we only get 2 ability score additions at this point.
Let's do, heck with it. Let's do 15.
Okay. And then what we could do is intelligence and strength. We can make a 10. And because of her race, that charisma is going to be bumped up to a 10 because of the racial modifier.
Cool. So it won't be negative.
So it won't be negative. Yep. All right. And so now going back to her ability scores, do you want to pump up her wisdom first?
Maybe dexterity.
Dexterity first, not a problem. Yeah. All right. So dexterity. So I'll be pumping up this dexterity. It's not going to take me very long. Let's see what we got. All right. Okay, so that's the dexterity. We're going to have to change her equipment because she's already got 3 weapons. She should not be wearing a breastplate.
Nope. Should not be wearing armor.
Take away the longbow because she's already got 3 weapons. We can take away the rapier because she already has a rapier. And she cannot have a shield, so we'll take away the shield. And I'll keep her with the 2 daggers. And for her, what she can wear, yeah, there's nothing that she can wear except for Elven Chain. Hold on. Let me see. I don't think she can really wear armor, can she? She can maybe wear like a leather studded or something like that, right?
Maybe, I'm not sure.
I think she can wear leather.
Okay.
Rogues can wear leather. I don't think Antonia's wearing anything, but that's because Antonia is one of the bird people. Antonia may be wearing a breastplate, but I don't think she is. I don't think so. All right, so that's going to start cooking up. While that's cooking up, in addition to Simone Biles today, Nate and I have to create backup characters. So let's give you a little bit of an information about why we're creating backup characters. So in one campaign, we just fought some vampires, and we did actually pretty well against those vampires and an army of rats. Next, we have to fight a dragon. And so we have a set amount of time to take this potion that we have, somehow give it to the dragon, getting into its food and everything like that, put the dragon to sleep, and then kill the dragon. So yeah, we might not make it. We might not make it. And this is the same campaign where Nate and I had other characters that died. Christina died in this one. And so then, what was your first character's name?
Kay.
Kay. Right.
Yep.
And then they died horrific deaths because of this guy. And that, ooh, let me see. Wait, can I do it? Can I do it? Nope, wait, nope. I can't. That's where I created Antonia Sebastian, and you created
Braxis of Pride Emberclaw.
Right. So if you cannot tell, my characters are based on actors in Marvel movies. So Chris Evans. Antonia Sebastian is Anthony Mackie plus Sebastian Stan, the Falcon and the Winter Soldier combined into one character. So I had to think, who am I going to create that's going to be the next person in the succession? And so we thought of Hallie Atwell, who plays Agent Carter. And I know I have not watched What If, but I did watch Give Me My Time. Give me my time. I am not ready to have feelings yet. Give me my time. So anyway, because I've changed male actors into female characters, it seemed only right that I take Hallie Atwell and make it Hal Atwell. So this would be, for me, the very first time I've ever played a male character in D&D. The character will be based off of Peggy Carter from the movies and also from the TV show, which that show should not have been canceled. And now that Disney Plus has its own streaming service, I'm going to say this to you, Disney, get in real close, all right? Make that come back. I want Peggy Carter back.
Make that come back.
Yes. Make it come back. Then we have a second campaign where, dear Margaret, we have all these elementals coming at us. We've got fire elementals, we got water elementals, and we have earth elementals. And the only reason why we don't have wind elementals coming after us is because we're trying to get into their realm. So we've got the other elementals coming at us. We may die in that. So that character, Benoit Cumber, is based off of Benedict Cumberbatch. All right. So again, continuing my theme. So his good friend, who's also in the Marvel universe, he has two. I'm going to go with the one that I think will be the most fun, and that's Tom Hiddleston, the Loki character, who will be called Tommy Hiddleston. And she will be a sneaky, manipulative, you don't know if she's good or bad. Oh, she's going to be so much fun. All right. So that's the other thing that we're going to do today. But let's get back to Simone because I think it's up. Is it up? Yeah, there it is. Okay.
There she is.
She has disadvantage on acrobatics and athletics. For what reason?
Due to
She's supposed to have no armor. Okay.
No armor.
I'll take her out of the armor. All right, not a problem. I can do that.
There we go.
Don't take away my disadvantage. All right, here we go.
Bloop.
I know this is taking a while here. I don't appreciate this. I've even got you plugged in, friend. I don't appreciate this time that you're taking away from me. This is
I can talk about my characters if you want to.
Yes. You talk about talk about your character and I'll fix this.
Okay. So I came up with Braxis, Brax for short, after feeling like we needed a warrior type after that resounding ass kicking that we got, because we didn't really have a melee focused character or a healer really. So I made a paladin. I made a paladin out of a lion person. Brax is a paladin of the Oath of the Crown. So there's, which particularly can do a group heal, and at least once per short rest, twice per short rest, and he can do an intimidating roar too. I thought it'd be a fun thing to role play. He's a lion. He's a Leonin or like a walking lion. So it's very funky. The other guy, the other guy that I've got as a backup here is now considering another of our basically the whole team in that party lost or left their characters after that resounding defeat. So everybody made new characters. Because Ethan, so he made a new guy. He also made a melee guy that can heal. You made a melee person that can heal. I made a melee person that can heal. So we kind of overreacted. Now this new backup character that is he is a caster. He is a Circle of Stars druid. He's a variant human Circle of Stars druid named Callum Longmantle. He's not a people person because he's studying. He watches the stars. You know, like he's studying what's going on with the movement of the spheres and what they tell us about what this dragon cult is doing. We're investigating a dragon cult. Backup guy for other campaign is a level 15 Gith Yankee Psi Warrior. So he's a fighter, but he's like a psychic fighter. So he can do cool psionic stuff. I thought that would be an interesting thing to try. He's still melee, so because I like playing tanks, I guess. What does Simone look like now that I'm done talking?
So, here was the interesting thing, and I'll bring it back up. Those weapons that we chose while we were creating her, did not show up in her inventory, so I had to add them.
Oh.
And yeah, I had to add them to this. And it looks like the flail, the 5-foot reach, I thought it would be a little bit bigger than that. With the reach. Also trying to see here, because the flail is supposed to be her Kinsai weapon. And so I'm trying to see if we got everything that we're supposed to have in here. Okay, okay, now I see what it means. Okay, so I can add an extra 1d4 damage. Okay, all right, all right.
Cool.
Step of the wind. Okay, so better. Oh, holy crap. Look at her walking speed.
Monks, y'all.
Yeah,
Like,
and her armor class without any armor is still pretty good too. 73 hit points. We've almost maxed out her dexterity. Her acrobatics and athletics are back along with her performance. Yeah, not bad.
cool.
Not bad at all. It's sort of like, you know, Antonia Sebastian that I have right now, which does make it a lot of fun when you're playing with these characters, because right now she gets 2 attacks per action, which is pretty cool. And then you also get the bonus action of flurry of blows and unarmed strike. So it could work out to your benefit. You get 2 actions with a total of 3 attacks in those 2 actions with that. And then you've also got the reflection or the reaction to deflect missile attacks or catch the missile you are hit by a ranged weapon. When you do so, the damage you take from the attack is reduced. If you reduce the damage to 0 and you have a free hand, you can spend 1 chi point to make a ranged attack. Nice.
Yeah, there's a lot of versatility, I guess.
Yeah.
Like you can really build a monk to do a lot of different things, I guess. They can be sneaky, they can be tanky, they're not exactly like a rogue. The rogues are also dexterous and sneaky, of course, but
yeah,
they're kind of like, I guess, between a rogue and a fighter, if that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. It's sort of like when you're looking at wizard, sorcerer, and what's the other one? Wizard, sorcerer, warlock. Yes. Yeah.
And then between fighter and cleric, you've got the paladin. Between paladin and rogue, you've got the ranger, which is it's so cool. I like it. Okay, so we made Simone as a monk. She's still a badass gymnast.
Yeah.
And she can deal with some hurt, looks like, too.
Yeah, I like actually this agile parry that she can do. That when she's doing an unarmed attack while she has her Kinsai weapon in her hand, she can add a +2 to her AC score.
Sweet.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool. All right. So, do we want to make one of our characters? Oh, you want to show us your backup? Yeah, show us your backup.
I made them already. I've got the characters up. I can share them. One moment. What?
I'm not going to share too much about Hal and Tommy because I kind of want to surprise you if Hal and Tommy have to come up.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. I have no such compunction. I will talk about D&D. Okay, so here is Callum. Calum or Callum, I haven't decided yet. But I like that name, Long Mantle, and I couldn't wait to use it. So Circle of Stars Druid. He is a variant human. I decided to give him the faction agent background, and I have not filled in his stuff over here yet, but I thought it would be interesting to have an agent of the Emerald Enclave, which is a faction that we haven't heard much about yet in Liz's campaign. We've heard about the Harpers and the Order of the Gauntlet. Catherine's character, Gelney, joined the Order of the Gauntlet. My character, Kay, may he rest in peace, joined the Harpers. I imagine Calum as, or Callum, I guess, to distinguish him from Cayman, Callum as part of the Emerald Enclave. So they're much more about the interests of the world, nature. He's a Circle of Stars druid, so he can do some cool stuff with a star map. I imagine him having like a little crystal star map as a necklace around him that he can take off and use as a spellcasting focus. He knows the guidance cantrip. He's got the guiding bolt spell always prepared. It doesn't count against the number of spells prepared. Can cast guiding bolts without expending a spell slot, doing so a number of times equal to proficiency bonus, and you regain all expanded uses when you finish a long rest. In terms of other stuff, because he's going to be at 7th level, at 6th level, you learn to use the star map to divine the will of the cosmos. You can consult your star map for omens. You can do a wheel or a woe. Roll a die and see if it's wheel or woe. Whenever a creature you can see within 30 feet of you is about to make an attack roll, a saving throw, or an ability check, you can use your reaction to roll a d6 and add the number rolled to the total. Woe, whenever somebody about within 30 feet of you is about to make an attack roll, a saving throw, or an ability check, you use your reaction to roll a d6 and subtract the number rolled. So you can help your teammates or chump the other guy. Starry form. Druids can wild shape, but a star druid can wild shape into a constellation, and they can turn into an archer, which can deal radiant damage, chalice, which can heal people, or a dragon, when you can make an inter-whiz check or a con save to maintain concentration, treat a roll of 9 or lower as a 10. Spells wise, he's got some of the basic druid stuff: produce flame, shape water, thorn whip, guidance, healing word, observe elements, goodberry, entangle, a lot of area control, some buffing the friends, healing spirit, enhance ability, revivify, very important, can raise you from the dead, dispel magic. And then I thought he was missing some damage spells, so I put in some Wall of Fire. And then I can prepare 12 spells total, so I can swap these out at the end of at the start of another day. I thought he would be neat to do a Star Druid. He was the reason why I got very excited about doing Carl Sagan as a Star Druid, because I was working on this guy at the time, and I was like, I can make this character.
Okay.
So
okay.
I was kind of nerding out, you know.
I see that. Okay.
I like space, and I like Star things. so that's the Liz's campaign. I
All
can talk
right.
about the other one too, and I'll try and be quick.
Okay.
Okay. The other one, he's a little bit more of a jerk face.
Ooh.
He is a gift Yankee. Typically, they are uh, lawful evil,
Oh.
but I decided to push him a little bit towards lawful neutral. Gift
Oh, look at
Yankees
that
are
armor
like,
class.
yeah, he's got the defense fighting style. He's a
Yeah.
fighter, so he's a strength-based fighter too. Like I was able to get his strength and his cat. It's kind of like casting, but it's not really. He's a psionic fighter, so he's telepathic. He can use his mind to do cool stuff during battle. Um, so I gave him a halberd, which is a big stick weapon,
Okay.
and gave him a couple of feats that are good for using that. So polearm master and sentinel. Um, the fighter stuff, defense fighting style, 3 attacks for an action, second wind, action surge, indomitable, 10 psionic energy dice. Using psionic energy dice, he can do some cool stuff. Protect crewmate with protective field. There we go. Psionic strike. Use your mind to help you swing the weapon better and deal extra damage. Telekinetic movement. You can move an object or a creature with your mind.
Okay.
You have mastered new ways to use your telekinetic abilities by 7th level. As a bonus action, you can propel your body with your mind. You gain a flying speed equal to twice your walking speed until the end of the current turn. Telekinetic thrust. When you deal damage to a target with your psionic strike, you can force the target to make a strength save, or it gets knocked over. Guarded mind. Starting at 10th level, the psionic energy flowing through you has bolstered your mind. You have resistance to psychic damage. If you start your turn charmed or frightened, you can spend a psionic energy die and erase it. Bulwark of Force, which he gets at level 15. Shield allies as a bonus action. Protected, and they are protected by half cover until I am incapacitated. And being a Gith Yankee, he also gets an invisible mage hand and can cast the spells Jump and Misty Step once each per long rest. So I imagine him stepping into the Chomp's role, but like a difference between the all-out aggression of Tempest and because Tempest is a fighter barbarian, and the more passive, non-violence, helping the party out thing of Champ, who is a redemption paladin. So this is kind of like a step between. And I, frankly, if this guy, I think he would be pretty cool. His name is Janik.
Okay. Sorry about that. It looks like I'm on a delay for some reason. And we just, what just happened there? I don't like that sound. I don't like that sound at all. Okay, it looks like we're back. Okay. All right. I heard everything that you said, but there was this weird delay. I have everything hooked up over here. So yeah, that was fun. Sorry. Yes. Okay, so in the circus campaign, that's the one with Ethan. Who was it that tried to hug Benoit?
That was Tempest.
It was so weird. He was just like, hug? It was like, what am I gonna hug you for? Slow down, big man, slow down.
Tempest likes Benoit very much. So
really?
He just, yeah.
Really?
Even though they're a jerk, yeah. Tempest
Benoit's a
was,
jerk?
is Benoit a jerk?
Benoit's not a jerk. How
Mm,
dare you? Benoit's not a jerk. Benoit's lovable and
mm,
adorable. Benoit's a halfling. It's adorable.
mm,
Benoit's always a sweetheart.
mhm.
Hey, did not Benoit ask her dad to give everybody some money?
Yeah, I
And
guess.
did not Benoit, you know, get the information from their dad and also has a box that if we do get our butch trance can open that box and teleport us all?
Yes.
Hi. And did
I
not
mean,
Benoit at Meat Man's house make us all a delicious meal?
I did say that Tempest wanted to hug Benoit because Tempest does like Benoit.
Benoit's not a jerk.
Oh,
Benoit just doesn't like Tempest.
okay. Fair enough.
All right.
Tempest is also a jerk.
Thank you. Anyway, those sound really good. That's really good. I like that. Yeah, because the one, and I just realized instead of calling them Tommy Hiddleston, I actually could call them Sylvie Hiddleston
Yeah,
because Sylvie is the female version of Loki.
yeah.
I got to think about that though.
What do you want to keep them close to the vest? It sounds
No,
like.
I mean it's not a problem if okay, so like with the first one, which is Hal Atwell, I'm thinking that they are a spy. So the
Mm.
only class that goes well with Agent Carter, I feel, would be something like a rogue.
I think you'd kill as a rogue, frankly. Like I would be very interested to see how you play a rogue character. That would be
Yes.
fun.
So how would make sense as a rogue? So then as race for that one, you need a race that can beef that up. So Agent Carter definitely has charisma
Hmm.
and definitely has the dexterity set and is also intelligent. So it's like, okay, so what class are you looking at where they can do that? So human is one of your go-tos with something like that because you can do a +1 to ability scores right there. Another one that goes well with it would be your elf classes. All right. Now, part of me kind of wants to do a dark elf. I kind of want to do a dark elf rogue. I think that would be fun for me.
We have enough variation in the party too, where you could do something crazy and get away with it, and everybody's gonna roll with it.
Yeah.
Right?
And right now we're level 7, right?
Yes.
Okay. So level 7. And then for the description for this one, because Hal, I have to remember I'm playing my first male here, would either be a faction agent, a soldier, because Agent Carter is a soldier, possibly a far traveler, because Agent Carter is from England, but working with the Americans.
I like the faction agent
Yeah,
personally. Like that lends itself to a spy thing really, really well, I would say.
right. So I kind of like the dark elf because I can kind of play with, how we're doing with the good and evil and kind of things like that. And then the whole spy thing. So I'm going to play around
Mhm.
with that. The next thing I'm going to play around with is it's either Sylvie or Tommy Hiddleston. I think I'm going to go with Sylvie because the name Tommy makes me think of that one
Tommy
person.
Laren.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Ugh. I don't understand people like that who say things just to get people to watch you. It's like, you know what? If you honestly don't believe that, don't say it. All
White
right,
supremacy is a hell of a drug.
right. So Sylvie Hiddleston is that is chaotic evil right there, just like
Okay.
straight up chaotic evil, because Loki is not just a straight up evil character, but Loki has done some messed up stuff in all his iterations. This is a her, so in all her iterations. So you also have the fact that Sylvie is a frost giant who did not know they were a frost giant, and so their heritage was hidden from them. They are noble, but they are also an outlander. They don't quite fit in anywhere. They don't fit in with the frost giants. They don't fit in with the Asgardians. So where does Sylvie fit in?
What is Haunted One?
Let's see. By something so terrible you dare not speak of it. You've tried to bury it and run away from it to no avail. So Loki did lose Frida, and lost Frida because of his own actions. If he had not told them to go up those back stairs, they may not have run into Frida and they may not have killed her. You don't know, but that is something that does haunt Loki. For the Sylvie character, she basically had to grow up in places that were about to be destroyed. That was her entire childhood growing up. So for this one, because the Loki Sylvie characters can change and shapeshift, I'm gonna go for Changeling.
Okay.
Yes.
That's
Okay,
a
so
good
that's a
pick.
+2 to charisma. So that means that when I'm looking at classes, I need to look at magical classes that are based on charisma or that have a need for charisma. So this is where I'm going to need you. So what am I
Okay.
looking at?
So, are you thinking more of a caster or more of a fighty person?
Okay, so both Sylvie and Loki are fighters. You said
Okay.
you said caster or fighter, right?
Sure. Yes. So, something worth considering. There is a warlock subclass called the Hexblade. Um, they are kind of like a melee caster. Um, they get in some cases like a pact weapon that is given to them by their patron. In
Okay.
most cases, the Hexblade is considered to be an aspect of the Raven Queen, personification of death. But the hex
Right.
blade can also be DM dependent. Something else you could do is multi-class sorcerer and paladin, sorcerer and warlock, paladin and warlock, bard. You can so bard, sorcerer, and warlock are the caster charisma classes.
Okay.
Paladin is a martial cast, as a fighter with some closer to a fighter than a caster.
Okay. Now, Loki, as you start to learn more and more about Loki, Loki is genderless.
Yes.
So that's another cool thing about Loki. And so that means that Loki can be very, flirty with everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So that's definitely a bard section to it. Loki is a fighter. Both Loki and Sylvie are fighters. They've gotten into battles a lot. Loki we've seen fight at the Battle of New York, and also fought at Ragnarok, and then also stood up to defend Thor when Thanos attacked the survivors from Ragnarok.
Mm-hmm.
Sylvie was taken when Sylvie was quite young and fought, escaped, and then was quite intelligent, quite wise to figure out at such a young age, hide. Okay, so I just realized that anybody that did not watch any of these shows on Disney Plus, I just spoiled a ton of shit for you. So
you could
I'm
have been talking about anything.
So I'm going to go back in editing, and before this, I'm going to go spoiler alert.
Shit. Yep.
I just realized that. So anyway, with Sylvie being able to grow up in those places that were just going to be completely wiped out, that was highly intelligent. It was also wise, if you think about it. So it's a very complicated, rich character that I'm gonna have so much fun with. Oh.
Sure. There's also things you can do with it. There's like the fighter with spells called the Eldritch Knight. There's the rogue with spells called the Arcane Trickster. There's the College of Swords Bard, which is like a bard that does showy sword play.
So Loki has his daggers.
Yeah.
And then Sylvie, what did Sylvie? Oh, Sylvie could mess with your mind. That's what Sylvie could do. Sylvie could get into your head.
Archfey Warlock.
Yeah.
Very tricky. And you can take the Pact of the Blade to get like a magic weapon.
I'm thinking more sorcerer for casting because both Loki and Sylvie, it had to have been in their bloodline. Yeah, Frida taught them, but I think there had to already have been something there in their bloodline.
Sure.
I'll have to think about that. I'll have to think about that. Because Loki and Sylvie don't have a patron. Well, no, Loki did kind of have a patron when they found Thanos. And then again, with Jeff Goldblum's character and Ragnarok.
What can happen when you break your pact with your patron?
Both times Loki did break their pact with both of their patrons. Oh.
The patron can kill you. Like they can like claim your soul or some shit, some stuff.
And can we just talk about how hot Jeff Goldblum is? Oh my goodness gracious.
100%.
is so beautiful.
Oh yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Peak hotness, probably Jurassic Park when he's like that shot of him.
Yes,
Like,
where he's like, yes, and he's just, but someone brought up, they were like, if you really look at it, the female characters in the original Jurassic Park were just kicking tail all the way through. It was Jeff Goldblum who was sitting there scantily clad and just showing off, and it's like, pretty cool. Which, by the way, if anybody has Netflix, watch The Movies That Made Us. So good.
okay.
So good. And they have an episode about Jurassic Park. Jurassic Park was a force upon itself. I didn't even know this, but it was the first movie that used CGI. I did not know that.
Like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's, it didn't just pop out of nowhere, but, like how it was created and that it almost didn't work because the guys who were creating the CGI were told, don't do that. So good. Okay. And again, I'm giving spoilers and I apologize.
1993, y'all.
No, I'm not giving spoilers about the movie. I'm giving spoilers about the show, The Movies That Made Us.
It's a documentary series.
Yes.
Like, it'll be all right.
But oh my gosh, so good, so amazing. All right, so those are the two characters that I will be working on, and then next week we will be back with possibly another politician. Politicians are doing some weird things right now.
Yep.
Including 45. He did something I did not expect him to do. But again, we've seen it where he's done a 180 on something and realizes that you cannot bring the mob back in. You cannot rein them back in. It's like trying to put toothpaste back into the little toothpaste tube. You cannot do it.
Mm-hmm.
So it might be time for us to take a look at that guy.
Okay.
I think for me, at least, there's been enough time and distance where I might be able to do this without making him a straight up orc.
Sure.
And then just making him the most disgusting thing I could think of. I think I'm at a point where I can look at him objectively, possibly. I don't know. All right. So thank you all for joining us on another episode of So You Want to Lead a Party. I'm Ragan.
I'm Nate.
All right. Say goodnight, Nate.
Good night, Nate.
Thank you for joining us on another episode of So You Want to Lead a Party. Please click the subscribe button, the like button, and don't forget to ring the bell. And if you enjoyed this week's episode, check out last week's video or the YouTube suggested videos.